All right. Hexagram 22. Share my screen. All right. Maximize this bad boy. Great. 22. Grace. It's that kind of key. And for those who are familiar with gene keys, 22 is a really important one, especially in the art of being yourself and trusting in something that is not so much larger than you, but I guess it's something that's always been there, right? So here we go. 22, grace. The judgment. Grace shows success. It is not favorable to create form for its own sake. Grace shows success points to the cosmic principle revealed by the sage that when a thing gives full expression to its uniqueness, it shows as beauty. This hexagram also defines the meaning of success used through the I Ching, that a thing's uniqueness has come successfully to expression. In this sense, it also means the fulfillment of its destiny while in a form. The hexagram name P has traditionally been translated as ornament and to adorn, and specifically to seeing the multitudinous designs in nature as ornamentation. The sage informs us, however, that the designs we see in nature are the ways in which the consciousness of each individual thing expresses its uniqueness. To see these designs as mere ornaments is to belittle the intrinsic worth and dignity of the things to which they give expression. The word grace expresses either grace as mere ornament or as beauty coming from within. Emphasis upon grace as ornament focuses on brilliance of form, etiquette, brilliance of design, complexity, brilliance of thought, emphasis upon style, and form as something of value apart from the content that the form expresses. This hexagram makes us aware that form is not meant to be separated from the function it serves, for it is only through fulfilling its function that its beautiful expression can be achieved. This can be understood, for example, in the sexual act and the love it is meant to express. The function of sexuality, apart from procreation, is to renew the life force, chi, within the partners through love. When sexuality is practiced apart from love, it cannot serve that function and it degrades the people who do it. The same is true for rituals as forms meant to create a communication with the cosmos or with the consciousness of nature. Such practices are based on the belief that a form in and of itself can create the communication and on the belief that some special behavior or device is needed. The sage makes us aware that such rituals treat the cosmos or nature as magical or mystical and thus overlook its friendly and accessible nature. The complexity and intricacy associated with ritual is often mistaken for grace, whereas grace is really to be found in simplicity. A similar mistake is made when art is not inspired by the helpers of creativity. Such art comes merely from the mind and lacks grace in its cosmic sense. This is true for the person who devotes himself to creating form for its own sake without regard for its function. Another abuse of grace occurs when the collective ego uses beautiful form to make its untruths attractive to the eye or ear through the use of art, as when it clothes its untruths in poetry, fiction, or seductive advertising. Each individual comes with unique gifts that demand expression during his life. All by themselves, these gifts cannot create art. Art occurs when the gifts attract the helpers of creativity, their natural complements, which bring the gifts to expression. This hexagram also wants to draw our attention to the fact that the cosmos operates only through the force of attraction. Grace is the element in attraction that draws everything to find its natural complement, as in the love relationship. This is also true for the transformation that occurs when a person is ready to cross over from his life in a form to his life as non-form at death. This crossing occurs through attraction when a person is inwardly ready to make this step. Then he is drawn across by the cosmic consciousness. This transformation is not to be confounded with the ego's decision to give up on life because it has got what it wants or because it is dissatisfied with life, a decision that also leads to death. Grace is a person's natural state of harmony and unity within the cosmos. Grace is a person's natural state of harmony and unity with the cosmos. The collective ego, however, has introduced the idea that neither harmony nor order exist in nature, and that it is the human task to impose order upon it. Such a view clearly reverses cause and effect because all the disorder and disharmony are created by the collective ego's slanderous views of nature and by its projecting its pretentious and hierarchical order onto the cosmos. When the abstract idea prevails that heaven rules earth, chaos is initiated. The chaos that is then observed is not the way of nature, but the result of the mistaken view projected into reality by humans. When humans then attempt to eliminate the chaos observed, they only create more chaos. This is evident in the attempt to engineer harmony through societal conditioning, engineer health, engineer a better nature through genetic manipulation, and to even engineer weather. Treating the consciousness of nature mechanically also creates a fate for the person who anticipates in it. All such attempts at engineering are in reality efforts to fight the fates humans have created through the projections they have placed on nature. Fate, of course, cannot be fought, but it can be ended by recognizing the mistaken ideas that have created it and ridding oneself of them. Lines, the lines. Here we go. Line 1. He leaves the carriage, lends grace to his toes, and walks. This line indicates a person who has been harboring a magnificent attitude that has made him ride through life indifferent to what is going on around him. He has not bothered to say the inner no to what is incorrect because he has equated goodness and living gracefully with only saying yes to the things and making no waves. Such a view has created a fate as a morass of relationship problems. To free himself from this fate, he must leave this carriage and take up his responsibility to say the inner no to the mistaken ideas behind his incorrect attitude. Among them may be the following: to live gracefully, one must create no waves. There is nothing you can do about things. It is best to let things work themselves out. The way will show itself. And like passive phrases such as, you can't fight City Hall. It is true that you cannot fight it, but it is also true that one can say the inner no to it when it is incorrect, and thereby initiate transformation. Just going to highlight that one. The line may also be saying to a person that he is saying the inner no mentally and not from his head, and that it is better not to continue, leave the carriage out of the mind. For example, he may be saying the inner no simply as words, as in a chant. The inner no is meant to renounce with one's whole being what is incorrect. It is to consciously affirm what is already unconsciously recognized by the common sense as incorrect. Saying the inner no from the heart is the only way the mistaken ideas can be expelled from all the body cells. This line can refer to a person's indulging in fantasies of self importance, as in thinking that his job in life is to exercise control over nature, including his own nature. This idea is based on the primary fantasy promoted by the collective ego that humans are the center of the universe and their task is to control nature. Also implied is the idea that his intellect, needs to control his body, its drives, desires, and weaknesses. The drives he has experienced are the result of the poison arrow put on his animal nature by seeing it as the source of evil in himself. These three views have demonized his animal nature, perverting it. To bring him back into harmony with his animal nature, he needs to rid himself of these poison arrows. This line can also refer to a fear of the unknown that has resulted from a person's separation from his inner truth, by which he would know that there is no such thing as a threatening unknown. This term has been invented by the collective ego to impute that the invisible cosmic consciousness is hostile, frightening, or inaccessible. The idea is reinforced by giving credibility only to what can be seen by the outer eyes. When we are open to the cosmic consciousness, we experience it as a friendly and loving feeling consciousness. It is unknown only when our intellect has been separated from our feeling consciousness and then imagines what the cosmos is like on this basis. To become free of the fear of the unknown requires removing the two poison arrows that block access to our inner truth. One, the idea that we can only believe what we see, and two, that our feelings are not reliable. All right. Line 2. He lends grace to the beard on his chin. Here, he lends grace to the beard refers to regarding form, the beard, as more important than content, the chin on which the beard grows. Elevating form demonizes it, causing it to take on a demonic life of its own. This happens, for instance, when a person separates sexuality from love, making it into a pleasure he can indulge in for its own sake. The body, being reduced to an object, presumably without a consciousness of its own, is made into a source of perverted pleasure. In decreasing his own and the other's dignity in this way, he puts a poison arrow on both people, causing illness. Regarding other person or one's body as an object comes from seeing the mind as the only important thing. This view, in turn, comes from the human centered view of the universe. The person needs to eliminate the poison arrow. uh, the person needs to eliminate the poison arrow created by this view. Another example of this mistaken view of the cosmos is seeing nature as operating according to mechanical principles devoid of consciousness. Such a view allows what is popularly called the rape of resources and land, engineering life, engineering weather, and all those views and actions that fail to respect and honor the life that is in it. Say this a whole line again. Such a view allows what is popularly called the rape of resources and land, engineering life, engineering weather, and all those views and actions that fail to respect and honor the life that is in everything. This approach to life sends poison arrows into everything, altering the natures of those things. Line 3. Graceful and moist. Being firmly correct brings good fortune. Graceful and moist can indicate a person who has developed a self image around his sexuality and thus makes his sexuality his main identity. Because his view of himself separates his sexuality from other parts of his personality, it puts a poison arrow in his heart, causing illness. His condition can be remedied if he frees himself of all the ways in which he has connected his identity with his sexuality. The image may be seeing himself as graceful or irresistibly attractive. See page 550, deprogramming procedure. This line can also point to a person with the self image of being complete in himself with no need for further development. Being firmly correct means saying the inner no to this self image and its flattery. The self image causes him to look critically at others as undeveloped and himself as superior. A seed phrase is, I am more developed than they are. See page 541, freeing yourself from images. Graceful and moist can also refer to a person who indulges in the pleasures of life in a purely egotistical way. Thinking he can live life as he pleases, he creates a fate. Such thinking creates an inner dryness that causes the person to seek more and more pleasures. In this way, he becomes increasingly divorced from his feelings and the nourishment of inner truth. To end his fate, he needs to make a firm resolve to seek out his inner truth and follow it. See page 542, freeing yourself from a fate. Line 4. Grace or simplicity. A white horse comes as if it's on wings, as if on wings. He is not a robber. He will woo at the right time. Line 4. This line contrasts two different kinds of logic. In the cosmic logic, grace and simplicity are one and the same thing. In the logic of the collective ego, grace is identified with complexity, brilliance, and contradiction. In terms of thinking, it employs half truths and falsehoods, giving them rationales to support their convictions. The more cleverly it makes these half truths and falsehoods believable, the more brilliant it considers itself. The white winged horse is a metaphor for the helper of mind flashes. Helper of mind flashes. The person who follows simplicity and is sincere in his way of life is graced by them, which come from his inner truth. They call things by their true names, thus describe things in their essence. Part of the brilliance of the rational mind is to draw conclusions about the nature of things and about the way things operate, when it then calls which it then calls truths. Since such thinking is not in harmony with the cosmic way, it creates fate, which proves the falseness of these truths. As the ego, in its pride, would not admit that it has made mistakes, it calls fate an undeserved misfortune and claims that life is unjust. This line may indicate that a person is experiencing a fate which he is blaming on life. He can free himself of this fate by one, recognizing that he has created it himself by following the logic of the collective ego, and two, freeing himself of the mistaken ideas and beliefs he has adopted as true. To find the mistaken ideas in question, he may need to ask for additional hexagrams. He also needs to eliminate the blame spell he has put on his life and apologize to the cosmos. Such thoughts are robbers that block his ability to connect with the sage and its help. Another characteristic of the rational logic of the ego is its presenting a person or things as being either good or bad, right or wrong. Such thinking puts a poison arrow on the person or the thing. Evil or bad and wrong always come from the incorrect use of language. They are never in the nature of of a person or thing. See Glossary of Good and Evil. Receiving this line may indicate that a person has created a fate due to his having accepted this kind of thinking. His fate can be ended if he will rid himself of the idea that people or things are either good or evil. The line also makes it clear that when a person uses the I Ching with the intention to learn about the future, he only invites the ego to give him an answer that reinforces his hopes and fears. Line 5. Grace in hills and gardens. The roll of silk is not meagre and small. When humiliation is ended, good fortune. Grace in hills and gardens refers to the cosmic consciousness expressing itself in the beauty of nature. The roll of silk is a metaphor for the beauty of a person's true nature and his innate capabilities. However, the ego, in its attempt to control and humiliate his true nature, calls his creative abilities meager and small. This line is to make him aware that all he needs to do is to remove the oppressive seed phrases and images that have put poison arrows on his true nature. He need not put anything in their place. Among the seed phrases in question are, I am not good enough the way I am. Gonna highlight that. This line also makes a person aware that he needs to say a conscious yes to the cosmic harmony in which beauty and simplicity go together. Receiving this line can be telling a person that he needs to approach the sage. Say that again. Receiving this line can be telling a person that all he needs to approach the sage are in sincerity and self respect. The ego may be saying that he needs an intermediary because his position is too lowly, or that he doesn't know enough, or that he needs to perform some elaborate ritual. All such ideas misrepresent the way the sage teaches by speaking simply and directly on a one to one basis to each individual. It informs him exactly what he needs to understand and in ways he is able to understand. The person needs to trust the simplicity of this process. Performing rituals or putting the sage on a pedestal only cause it to retreat. Line 6, and then I'll do my contemplations. Line 6. Simple grace is without blame. Simple grace describes the true self in harmony with the cosmos. No self image stands between the person and the cosmos, which accounts for the person's simplicity, modesty, and beauty. These qualities are the expression of the person's holding to his inner dignity in all circumstances. They are also they are so wedded together that others can be sure he will be true to himself at all times. Simple grace, like modesty, is not attainable through developing character or virtue. It is the result of divesting oneself of self images which cover up the true self. Receiving this line is to clarify the true meaning of grace and beauty. When all images of self have been discarded, the person's uniqueness is revealed, his destiny fulfilled. This line can also draw a person's attention to his seeing himself as having attained a state of simple grace or modesty, therefore thinking he is without blame. Fostering any self images disgraces the true self, creating blame. I got this bad boy on my contemplations now. 13th of May, 3 days ago. Time is doing some interesting stuff in my life right now. And what's also showing up here, and what I can see, is that if you're listening to these, your life might also be shifting in radical ways too. Because what I'm finding is that what used to work in my business or in my relationships, like these magical hacks, are no longer working. So I am retreating from what I see is the collective ego. What I see is things that mm, just don't fill me with chi, fill me with vitality, and being much, 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 much more selective in where I'm spending my time and energy, and also having fun with the entire process too. Like the temptation for me to want to grind my way into my business or guilt my way into my business or guilt my way into my family. Like, oh, I'm not spending enough time with my son or my wife or health or guilting my way. If guilt is a motivator for you, then learning how to free yourself from guilt is really important. And the lines I got when I called this was 5 and 6. So I didn't go into what specific paragraphs were called in for me. So I read the lines in their entirety. It was very helpful. And in that, really being able to listen to yourself when you're calling in a hexagram, what it is that you want to do. Because what can happen is I would turn this into a ritual. I have to, this time of day, do it this way. I have to do it this way. But no, you're given options, and then it's learning how to listen to your common sense about which way that you want to go. For example, like 22, I've got no notes for the 22 here. I've got dignity written in there. 14th, I've got the 48 again, which I wrote a bunch of notes on. And 16th today, I got the 9th with no lines. So you just got to trust yourself. Learn to trust yourself. Learn to listen to your common sense. Self-images. So self-images are creepy. They creep in because the ego wants to grab a hold of something that it can brag about or beat you over the head with, that, oh, you're doing it wrong, or you shouldn't be doing it that way, or whatever, right? So what's important in the self-images piece is being able to capture the phrase, being able to capture the phrases. Okay, I am not good enough the way I am. There's many ways of how to say that. Okay, like if I was to ask ChatGPT, or even just not even that, just ask the helper of insight. Just ask the helper of insight, ask the helper of transformation. It'll drop in, right? It'll just drop in. The exact phrase that you need to feel or say or experience will just drop in. Okay. Maybe it is. I'm not good enough. I need to be better, because to the other side, I'm not good enough when I compare myself to this person. And then further back in here, like the I'm better than you, right? I'm more developed than they are. Peh, those peasants, those those uneducated, unwoke, sleeping sheep out there. Peh, peasants, those consciousness peasants, right? So as soon as we do that, um, you demonize their nature, and you just keep on putting those poison arrows on them. They probably already have enough poison arrows on them already. If you're someone who's doing this work, then you're feeling like that's a default way of being for you is the judgment. Is that you can also say the no to it. And then no, K-N-O-W, that when you do that, you free yourself, you free your helper to come sort things out for you. So, hey, that's what I need help with. Help me with that thing. Help me with some more love. Because effectively you're judging them for the part in you that's still unintegrated or unexposed or not unintegrated. The part of it is just held by some demon, imp, dragon, self-image, right? It's usually inferiority, because when we see the inferiority in others, it can activate that inferiority in us. So when you can look at someone who's maybe not as better off as you are, or is more financially developed than you are, but then you can kind of compare that way too. It's like, oh, they must have a shitty life, right? You see a guy drive past in a Bugatti or a really expensive car. Oh, he must have, he's probably doing something completely out of integrity to get that, right? So in that's part of the I'm more developed than they are. You've got this secret card, this wild card of and it's Christian. I used when I was a Christian, same thing. My parents used to do it too. I was like, oh, he's going to go to hell, right? Pff, he'll just go to hell. You can't be that wealthy and not done something that's out of integrity, which might be true, but it's not our business to judge that, right? So in judging that, we take the focus off ourselves and focus on somebody else. Thinking he can live life as he pleases, he creates a fate. Such thinking creates an inner dryness that causes the person to seek more and more pleasures. Right. So, what I'm hearing in that is the merging pattern. And what happens when a merging pattern person is not connected with their inner truth of who they are, they're continuously seeking more and more pleasures to fill up this inner dryness. Right. And then crossing over with some homeopathy and maybe some other things, if you don't feel juicy, if you don't feel like vitality's bursting through you and flowing through you, maybe there is a dryness, an inner dryness. What else is your body dry, right? Because your body is wanting to let you know that, hey, you're living outside cosmic integrity, like you're living outside what's available to you. Do you want to fix that? Do you want to sort that out? Would you like to grow a little bit more? Would you like to come over here, bro? Come into cosmic harmony. To become free of the fear of unknown requires removing the two poison arrows that block access to our inner truth. The idea that we can only believe what we see, that our feelings are not reliable. So if you are someone who gets flooded and overwhelmed very easily, your feelings are not safe to you. The feelings aren't safe because whenever you get a feeling, like you get flooded or overwhelmed, you go into your survival pattern of shutdown or run away. Shut down, run away, hold back. Shut down, run away, hold back. Right? Shut down, run away, hold back. So your feelings are indicating to you. Like I had a client session today. She wants to buy a property, and she wanted to work out, well, where do I buy? Where should I buy my property? So I helped her make that choice by listening to her feelings. Because sometimes you need to talk things out in order to get the clarity. And in that talking it out, you feel the feelings. And if you live in your head, you're not feeling your feelings. That's why a lot of my work comes with voice note support, because talking, you experience the feeling. Inner know when it is correct and thereby initiate transformation. You can't fight City Hall. This is a theme for people who see institutions as the big bad man, big bad man, big bad man, right? Got to do something about it. Government, military, farmer, big organic, you know, mines, oil, all that stuff, right? And here's the thing is that you really need to be present to, are you trying to save the planet? Are you trying to save the planet? They're raping the planet. Oh, they're just raping the planet. Okay, cool. So that term rape implies that there isn't any consent there. When how we see the world, when we personify it, when we anthropomorphize it, like apply human traits to it, we don't see the truth of the matter. Is that it just creates a fate if it's not in alignment, and the fate will influence everybody that hasn't said the inner no to it, and everybody that's actively. That's it. It's that simple. Anyone's not saying the inner no to it will naturally be called out of the cosmic protection and be impacted by it some way, shape, or form. You might say, well, John, like what happens if we stop mining or pulling oil out of the ground? It doesn't matter. You just got to choose to say no to it, right? The threshold in a lot of the work that I do is you just got to do the thing. Trust that your body knows the next step to take and allow the possibility to exist that the unknown is safe. Having that conversation, doing that thing, putting that deposit down, stepping into that place of the unknown from a place of clarity, listening to the feelings, talking it out. So you can fight all the stuff, right? Just got to say no. Saying it is true that you cannot fight it, but it is also true that one can say the inner no to it when it is incorrect and thereby initiate transformation. It's incorrect. I'm going to say the inner no to it. That's not correct for me. The inner no is meant to renounce with one's whole being what is incorrect. Your whole being. So if you're not in your whole being, if you're in leaving pattern or something else, you're afraid, you're trying to fight, like an aggressive pattern, trying to, I'm better than you, rigid, the rules, what's right and wrong. If you're not present in you, your own unique frequency of who you are, the no is ineffective. This line can refer to a person's indulging in fantasies of self-importance, as in thinking that his job in life is to exercise control over nature, including his own nature. Right? In the relationship space, there's a like semen retention, right? So trying to force the body into doing a thing to create this superiority, this internal superiority of being the superior man. I'm semen retentative, right? Just trying to control the body with your mind. You need to listen to your body, what's telling you. Maybe you do need to ejaculate. Maybe you do need to allow that to happen, right? Seductive advertising. This is a really interesting one because I had a few credits on my Audible that I was going to spend on a book by Robert Greene, I think his name was, talking about like the psychology. Robert Greene wrote some great books on psychology about manipulating people. Great books, great in quotations. And I wanted to know, how can I manipulate even more people to come into my work? How can I trick them into buying my stuff. And what's shown up, including the final weeks of me working with my mentor, was letting go of all of these ridiculous techniques that have worked for other people, but it's purely collective ego, and doing what I need to do to reach out to people, right? Because I can craft poetry with and without ChatGPT. I can craft posts trying to seduce people to come in. It's not helpful. This is part of the collective ego and continues the entire process, perpetuates the whole thing. It's gonna be true to yourself. Put up what you want to put up. Hey, I've got this thing. 16 weeks. You want to come? Yes or no? Or maybe. And if it's a maybe, then we can have a conversation. If it's no, cool. That gives me an idea about where you're at, what you want, what you're moving through. If it's a yes, great, cool. Let's do the next steps. The cosmos operates only through the force of attraction. This is pivotal and is a fundamental pillar of my work. Attraction. My 16-week protocol is called aligned attraction. Aligned attraction. Right, that came through a session with my mentor. Right, we're just brainstorming. What's that thing? I said, aligned attraction sounds great. Great. Aligned attraction sounds hot. So we just did it. Right. Attraction is love. So when we have a love for ourselves and all of our senses, it naturally brings us in alignment with collective with the cosmic harmony. And in that flow of love, the correct people, the correct things, the correct invitations naturally flow into us, right? And if something untoward happens, we know, what's going on in my life right now? What's going on? What is that? I could have missed something. What is this? What's this mean? Because even in the upset, even in the scares, even in the things that we are judged by the collective ego as, you fucked up, fucked up, fucked up, can be the universe going, hey, I know you wanted to do that other thing. This is actually where you need to be. This is actually the correct path for you to maintain that cosmic consciousness, that cosmic harmony. I can see you going over that way, and it looks attractive, but it's actually this one that you want to go down. And you're going to see that more and more. The people that have done said the necessary inner knows and connected with their internal truths will be prepared for bringing other people to whatever it is they're doing. The sage makes us aware that such rituals treat the cosmos or nature as magical or mystical and thus overlook its friendly and accessible nature. All right, okay, look. Where's these books? All right. I've got 3 books of that density talking about magic. Okay. Connecting with nature, the elements. North, south, east, west, the void, the heavens. And the author is incredible. You know, she banks her life on it. And also, it's all ritual. It's all ritual. That nature's this thing, and it was fun. I tried some of it, and then I found the I Ching, and I'm like, this is actually aligned. This makes more sense to me. This is me. This style, where it's show up, grace, modesty, sincerity, modesty and sincerity, which can mean that you just show up as you are. Right? Like I wasn't well last week, so this week I'm like, yeah, cool. I'm feeling better. Good. Got it going on. But the nature is friendly and accessible. And a lot of rituals that have been shown to people have come from the collective ego or outdated things, outdated connections with the body. When the nature is put on a pedestal above humanity, this is the same thing. Nature is better than me. Look at this mere mortal. Me, mere mortal. Oh, Gaia, you're so much better than me. Nature, you're so much better than me. It's the same thing. Just put nature on a pedestal. It's not how it works. It creates a fate. Creates a fate, and will leave you in a cycle of low self worth and being dishonest with yourself. And a lot of people that are around you, just be dishonest because you're not seeing your uniqueness and your gift of life. The reason you're listening to this is because you've been given the gift of life. Not the reason, but you've been given the gift of life and you choose it to spend it listening to this, listening to me. Everything you do is an act of either being in modesty or in sincerity with who you truly are. And it's from that place that you attract the people into your life and the situations in your life that will bring you into even more alignment. Miracles are the default. Luck is the default. Even though there's no such thing as luck, you either are aligned or you are not aligned. And it's not personal. It's not personal. So that's what I have for you in my contemplations. And I will possibly be doing another one. See how I go. Or I'll be gonna go play with my son. Right, mad love. Bye.